Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Thursday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how we doing?
I'm doing great. Shockwave, I'm starting off with a little basketball
You
in the
probably
PMAC
saw I
last night.
had it in the lead, and then I went, they're going to go nuts if I do that. We got to talk about football. So we will start with football, and we'll get to some basketball as well. LSU got on the hardwood last night. Luke Johnson at 1:30, talking Saints. Adam Hutchinson of the Best of Arkansas Sports will join us at 2 o'clock straight up to talk about the Hogs. What's the latest on KJ Jefferson? What's the status of this team? And what's the weather going to be like, which doesn't sound all that awesome up in Northwest Arkansas. And, of course, every single Thursday at 2:30, best win and worst loss in college football and the NFL. You know, I'm listening to the other shows on the station. I'm, talking to friends, having meetings. I'm the only person concerned about this game, I've come to conclude. I got T-Bob saying, look, Arkansas is not great. This team, you ought to trust them. They got a good coach. They're going to be just fine. Hester's always on the positive end of some things. Haney just said yesterday, if KJ Jefferson can't play, it's a slam dunk. Moscona's not concerned. You told me you're not concerned. I'm the only one concerned about this game.
Look, man, I think when you go down 21-0 to Liberty, it's just, it leaves, just a little hope for the Tigers, I think. I mean, I would hope that, we can get off to a similar start. I know that's kind of been what's ailing this team a ton, but man, if we can't beat this version of Arkansas the way that, obviously preseason, how they're ranked, I think we're still looking at them from that lens in a bit. Still some of those players that got some of that preseason buzz. But to me, I'm just looking at two teams that are just playing totally different brands of football. LSU's rolling right now. Arkansas is not rolling. So I think, even with the kickoff time, the weather, whatever you want to say, I just like my Tigers in this matchup.
We'll start here as far as my concerns. You just alleviate my concerns as they come, and we'll see where we land at the end of the segment. But Arkansas is second in the league in sacks, and LSU has given up the second most sacks. We talked about that earlier in the week, how Jaden Daniels is taking some sacks, took 6 sacks on Saturday, but he's not putting the ball in harm's way. He'd rather just go down or try to get away. And Arkansas has brought a little bit of pressure. I heard the guys in the morning talking about this number about how Arkansas does get after the passer, and Jacob said, yeah, well, they were leading the nation in sacks at one point. It's kind of tailed off, so let me go check that out. And he's right. Through the first 4 weeks of the season, which wasn't against like atrocious competition, it was Cincinnati, South Carolina, Missouri State, and A&M, so 3 actual football programs, and then Missouri State. They had 20 sacks through the first 4 games, including 8 against Missouri State. Since then, they've had 8 sacks in 5 games. Now, 8 sacks in 5 games doesn't sound that great, but you can manipulate the numbers all you want. They actually have 7 sacks in the last 2 games. They had none against Mississippi State and BYU. They had 3 against Auburn and 4 more against Liberty. Drew Sanders has been a real spark plug for him on defense. He was at Alabama, transferred over. He's been fantastic. Are you concerned about the Arkansas pass rush that had 6 sacks against South Carolina, had 3 sacks against A&M, 3 against Auburn, 4 against Liberty?
I was just replaying all those teams you said in my head. And,
yeah.
I don't think they're very good. I think their record shows they aren't very good, and you got a non-Power 5 team that you racked up some sacks against too. So I think the way you see, Will Campbell playing, you see Emory Jones playing, I just think those guys are playing better right now. And if they're not going to blitz and, kind of sell out to get to Jaden Daniels, which I think opens up one-on-one matchups on the outside, I just favor this matchup. And I think if they do, I think that avenue is there for them to maybe get 3 or 4 sacks in this game, because Shaden will not put the ball in harm's way. He's not going to just throw it up for grabs and, see who comes down with it. So I think if there was a way to, get sacks, it'd be that way. But I feel confident with this offensive line match up against their defensive line. I don't think it's Auburn or Liberty or South Carolina or some of these teams.
That's a fair point. All right. Sanders, one thing, because not all sacks are created equal. Sanders does lead the SEC in sacks at this point. He's half a sack in front of Will Anderson, but he's forced 3 fumbles, which is a playmaker. I mean, that's a real key. So LSU needs to account for him, make sure he doesn't get loose and make some sort of game-changing play. It's not like he's going to come out of nowhere. They know who Drew Sanders is. So that's something that gives me a little bit of a cause for concern. Arkansas's offensive line was awful against Liberty last week. You turn on that film, if you watch the game, look at the highlights on YouTube, whatever. they weren't blocking him. I mean, and KJ wasn't running quite as much as he usually does, but they weren't, and that's such a surprise because this Arkansas offensive line, when you look at just the numbers, their left tackle Luke Jones is a fifth-year player, so a very old player, but this is his first year to play. Really, he's got 9 career starts. The other 4 guys have combined for 136 career starts. You're talking about Brady Latham at left guard, 32 starts. Ricky Stromberg, who's one of the top centers in the country, 41 starts in college. Bo Limmer is the right guard, 26 starts. Right tackle's Dalton Wagner, 37 starts. 37 starts. That's a lot in the world of college football. You're talking about over 2 seasons of being the starter. So this is a really old group, a really experienced group, and they were talking to Sam Pittman about it on the teleconference yesterday. He's like, "Yeah, they just got to play a lot better." That's a weird deal because they have run the ball really well for a couple of years now. These guys have been in the middle of that, and they've just played poorly the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they really have. And I think look no further than to LSU last year. You had very, very veteran left tackle, very, very veteran right tackle. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be blowing people off the line and just lighting people up with your pass protection and things of that nature. To me, you got to look at the film. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. And that offensive line just didn't play well last week. I'm looking at Liberty just rushing for. They're getting after KJ time and time again. It was really difficult for that offense to move the ball effectively, especially when they had to pass the ball. And so I think for that Arkansas offensive line, they're going to obviously have to play a lot better. You're playing against, to me, a lot better front. You got Harold Perkins you got to deal with, BJ Jalaris, no slob, and it's just going to be a lot different than what you saw last week, even though those guys were getting pressure after KJ. So if they don't step up, it's going to be a long day for whatever quarterback's back there. They're going to have to play big and show that experience.
Those are the concerns for me. I feel a little bit better when I start to talk about some of the other areas on the field. This Arkansas pass defense has just been a disaster. They're 13th in the league in pass defense. They're 13th in the league in total defense. Yeah, they've created some pressure and had some sacks, and maybe that's because Barry Odom looks at it and goes, well, we can't really cover, so we may as well just try to go get back there and make a play in the backfield. That would leave a lot of opportunity for LSU's playmakers to get open and make plays down the field. McLaughlin had some early interceptions, but he was getting cooked in the Liberty game a little bit, and they just don't have the horses back there that you need to run around with some of these SEC wide receiving corps, and LSU's is really, really good. So as I try to look towards the positive and go, okay, where do I need some good mojo from? If they can protect, I don't think Arkansas is going to cover very well.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at it last week. I mean, I'm looking at a 5'8" receiver just going up catching touchdowns against these guys, and they're just running basic stuff. It's not like they're running double moves and setting stuff up. Guy ran a seam route from the slot, catches a touchdown. Guy runs a bang gate in the post, catches a touchdown. And Liberty missed on some shots. They threw a big play down, and they had a penalty they had to call back. Like, I think they could have scored more in the second half. Just a couple things didn't go their way and kind of let Arkansas get back in that game. But that game could have looked a lot uglier than it was, and it was because of the receivers they had on the outside. They were making plays, and so I think anytime you're looking at Malik, who to me is as advertised as we said last year when we looked at him as a freshman, you're starting to see all that come into fruition. And Kayshawn, who really didn't have the year we thought, but he's still Kayshawn, and you can just keep going on and on with her. She's got to shout out Jure too, but I feel great about the receivers against these cornerbacks, especially if Dwight's not going to be in the action.
Look, I'll let you elaborate on this because this is just a guess on my part, but it's just a feeling that I have. In some of these letdown games, some of these spots where LSU has not played well against lesser teams, especially after the Alabama game, sometimes it has been Arkansas, it was a lot of the offenses that were built around what Les wanted to do, which is just run the football dead downhill, and that was kind of your biggest strength, and you struggled to do really anything else. And I have confidence that Mike Denbrock will have a second option, a third option, if something is not working. They don't have all their chips in a basket like sometimes LSU's teams that have struggled after Alabama do. If they're trying to run the football and they're struggling with that, well, let's get Jaden on the edge. Let's try to get Keisha on the ball in a little bit of space. They will have different things available to them than what LSU. Well, this isn't working. Well, let's keep trying. Just keep blocking them. I think with this coaching staff, it's going to look better.
It's only so much you can do from an I formation, and I think the less approach is that let's bring another tight end in. Matter of fact, let's bring three. Let's go to goal line package. Why not? I have you. So it's not going to be that, obviously. They can spread it around. They got stuff. You've seen the plays where they give Kayshawn the jet sweep. They run the reverses. They have a lot of different things they can go to. And for that inside zone and that read option isn't working with JD5, which I think is going to absolutely have to be huge. And in a weather game like this, that'd be freezing. I think it's very viable for you to get that run game going. And if it's not, like you said, I trust Denbrock to, really kind of switch things up. And then obviously the passer that JD5's become over these past 3 weeks, I trust him, pushing the ball down the field, giving these guys opportunities, doing what I say. You may force a pass interference call, and doing this against a secondary that I think, is in that. We talked about Bama last week. Their secondary wasn't lifesaver. I think this secondary is a step down from that. And so
no doubt.
I feel like these guys can make plays on these guys on the outside, and even if the run game isn't going.
Here's the one more stat before we get to some hoops, and then Luke Johnson on the Saints a little bit later. The something's gotta give stat of the game. You are talking about the LSU Fighting Tigers dead last in the conference in punt return average versus the Arkansas Razorbacks dead last in the conference in net punting. They might be worse than us in the punt game.
Look, we got Big Brown, man. We saw how he played last week. My man was punting the life out of that ball, setting up that great field position. So yeah, I'll take our guy, the Notre Dame transfer, over what they got over there.
Something's got to give stat of the game. Hey, these guys stink on special teams too. Maybe we can beat them. All right. Well, I'm still concerned, but there are a lot of ways you can point to LSU winning this football game. And we'll get an update here in about 50 minutes from Adam Hutchinson talking about KJ Jefferson and what he expects. I did an interview in Shreveport yesterday that I've done every Wednesday for 12 years. And the interviewee, the guy who hosts the show that was talking to me, said, I actually do know some people involved in the Arkansas football program, and it sounds like KJ Jefferson is doubtful for this game. I just think he's so beat up. He can't practice. We saw what that did last week. So we'll ask Adam Hutchinson coming up at 2 o'clock whether he's heard anything similar to that. But I think there are, if not all signs pointing to the backup, there are some that are pointing that direction midway through the week here. So we'll update you as we learn anything. We'll certainly ask Adam Hutchinson coming up at 2 o'clock. Take a timeout, come back. Tigers started the Matt McMahon era with a win. I saw some good stuff. I saw some really not so great stuff. So we'll talk about it all next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Explorer, Expedition, Mustang. Whether you want the Bronco F-150, Bayou Ford is your stop, and the website is BayouFord.com.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They got a new special tab that updates daily. It's complete with a photo of the vehicle, the savings you could score, as well as a video profiling all of its features. Don't see anything you love? That's okay. Keep coming back because those deals will update as the site rolls them out. It's all right there at BayouFord.com.
They got all your options right there, and as Jeremy said, you can just learn all the information about the vehicle. If you love it, call Ben Gagne, Leah Gagne, and the crew down there at Bayou Ford and figure something out. If you don't love what they've got, come back a little bit later as inventory updates, or do what most customers do these days when they're buying automobiles, and that is customize the vehicle to exactly what you want. You tell them, Bayou Ford makes that order. Car shows up in 60 to 90 days, and it is delivered right to your door by one of the 6 full-time drivers over at Bayou Ford. And every purchase that is a new vehicle at Bayou Ford, million-mile powertrain warranty. Million-mile powertrain warranty at Bayou Ford. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Matt McMahon era got off to a winning start last night inside the PMAC. Tigers beat the Kansas City Roos. 74-63 was the final. Not a very good effort by LSU. There's a million reasons for that, and it's not really anything to overreact to. They just didn't play very well. But got a whole new cast of characters. You got a brand new coach. You're playing a pretty poor basketball team. They played almost exclusively zone, which it's hard to get into a rhythm on, especially in game one. But there were some issues. There were some bright spots as well. Your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I thought obviously you did a great job shutting them down from the three-point line. That's something that Coach McMahon talked about going to this season. Holding them for 25 from the three-point line was very huge, but I thought she could have made some more of your free throws. And I think you had some guys make some outside shots, and seeing kind of Adam Miller do that, Mwani making some outside shots, I thought was important. And I just thought for a team, you just didn't shoot the ball well. I think anytime we're shooting 42% against a team like Kansas City, the Kangaroo Show, you just got to shoot better. Otherwise, this lead would have gotten a lot out of hand. It's just really close because you just weren't making the shots that you need to make. And I think, like you said, a big part to do was with the zone that they were running and making you move the ball and try to get in those pockets and make continuous outside shots from the outside. So for me, obviously getting your feet wet in this first one, a lot of stuff to learn. But I did like what I saw from the big man, my man KJ, sitting on the boards, dumping down to him, getting on the rim, and that's something you can build on.
The starters, we knew that Juice Hill and Adam Miller would be your starting backcourt, and we knew KJ Williams would start up front. Didn't know who the other two would be. I thought Mwani would have a good chance to start. He did. Jalen Reed was the other starter, the big 6'10 freshman. As far as those guys go, I really liked what I saw from Juice Hill. He is exactly what you would imagine a veteran point guard who's played a ton of basketball in college would be. He knows when to floor it. He knows when to tap the brakes. He understood to be patient against the zone. He felt like he was under control. He didn't shoot the ball very well. I don't know that he's a great shooter, but he was very much under control, and I like that. He dished out 7 assists, made a couple of turnovers, but it's an early season game. Adam Miller really shot the ball well in the first half. Knocked down a couple of early threes from the corner, showed a little bit of explosiveness, and I thought was really pretty impressive for his first time out. He also, I remember Will Wade saying this when it was at the end of last year, and when he was talking about what they were going to be like the next year, and he goes, Adam Miller, sit down and guard you now. And he did that. He did a pretty good job on the ball playing defense. And Mwani knocked down those threes that you would like to see him make early from the corner as well. That's kind of going to be his role on the offense. And when you get teams into zone, for Miller and him wanting to be able to knock down some early shots was really, really nice. I also thought the zone limited KJ's touches early in the game. They were kind of using the ball in the perimeter, and Miller and Mwani and Justice Hill were more of the offense at that point. And so it was good to see them make some early shots, kind of hit a lull there at the end of the half. And then one of the things I really liked was Matt McMahon using the use it or lose it timeout right before the half after a made basket, and he got them the ball with 3 seconds left. It's a lucky shot. He banks it off the glass, so the execution was what it was. But Matt McMahon was Johnny on the spot, got the timeout when he needed to use it or he was going to lose that timeout. So I thought that was pretty good. In the first half, I thought LSU's on-ball defense was iffy. They got driven by a few times. This Kansas City team's not nearly good enough to finish around the trees and around the athleticism that LSU has, so they couldn't capitalize on it. But what they did do was get to the foul line and create offensive rebounding opportunities because LSU was having to come over and help, and you didn't have anybody there to rebound. So at times they played a little bit better on defense, and I think they will get better. That's something that's really going to take communication and chemistry and playing together. But I thought there were too many times where Kansas City got driving towards the rim, and where your more skilled, more athletic SEC guys are gonna make you pay for that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you shoot 27 free throws, it's guys out of position and it's guys not really being where they're supposed to be. And they shot a great percentage. I thought that was a big part, why they kind of stayed in this game. And like you said, Juice hitting that shot, I think it's kind of a little demoralizing when the Kangaroos you're only up 4 points going into halftime. So I thought that was good for them to really get that momentum. And they really kind of led by double digits for most of that second half. But it's a lot of stuff you can clean up. And like my old coach always says, they're going to scratch where it is. So I think a lot of teams, especially lower caliber teams, LSU, you're going to see that zone. And that's just something you're going to have to figure out how to get KJ more touches down near the basket, because he's exactly what I thought he'd be. He's a lot different than Afton Reed. He gets the ball around the rim. He's aggressively, and he's going to finish it. And like I said, he dominated the board. So it's a lot of stuff you can build off in this game, kind of like with Juice, getting in there, getting those assists, and kind of figuring it out that way. But I think for me, just kind of seeing how they attack this zone and not just, relying on those, bailout threes and really getting inside of it and trying to force more fouls and get easy buckets.
If LSU needs like 8 carries for 30 yards on Saturday, they could get Trey Hannibal in the game up in Fayetteville. That dude is built like a running back, and he plays like one. We talked about it yesterday on the show previewing the team. He did not start last year for Murray State, but he was their 6th man. He played in every game, played about 20 minutes a night. And he only shot 13 threes all year as a guard in college basketball, which is almost unheard of. And he led their team in free throws attempted by a pretty wide margin. And then you got KJ Williams down there. Who, I want to say KJ Jefferson every time I do that because it's this week. You got KJ Williams down the block. He's going to shoot a lot of free throws, but Hannibal shot more, and he led LSU in free throws last night coming off the bench because he's so aggressive, so relentless, so attacking, and such a good athlete. He can struggle at times to finish. He's a lot more strong and athletic than he is polished, but he has a role. He wants to play defense. He wants to play hard. He wants to attack, and I think he gives you a spark. I think there's a reason that Matt McMahon brought him off the bench last year and will bring him off the bench this year, because when he comes in with that second unit, he's got an edge to him, and you need that.
Yeah, you want to talk about Juice Hill possibly having to play the game. I thought Hannibal had to play the game. Goes behind the back, hop steps, lays it in there. That was just, that's what he does. He's aggressive downhill. He's got to put pressure on the defense, and you need that, especially when you got Miller hitting the outside shots. You got, obviously the other point guard, Hill, kind of moving the offense, getting the assist and dumping it off, and we don't think Mwane's going to be attacking the basket too much. No. You got to kind of have that presence of a guy who can get in the teeth of the defense, isn't afraid, and possibly force other bigs in the foul trouble, which I think you're going to desperately need when you kind of get to SEC play. So there's definitely going to be a place for him, especially if he can kind of slow down some of these perimeter players and keep them out the paint and not foul those guys. I definitely see you can use him a lot, attacking the paint.
You got the flags at the beach, like if it's red, you can't go out there. That's like the worst one. This is not a red flag. It's more like a orange or yellow flag. Like, I'm aware of this, but it's not the worst thing it could be. I was disappointed Tyrell Ward didn't play. That's a 5-star, 6'6" player that we talked about potentially maybe being a starter. It was very clear, like, I don't know who's going to be the other 2 starters, but this is an option. And he didn't play last night, and they played 11 guys. They asked Matt McMahon about it. Glenn West actually asked Matt McMahon about it last night, and he said, it's just trying to get a lot of guys in. It's tough. Like, he could have played. And so I don't know if maybe we skipped a class. This is all stupid speculation. I don't know. Or if, he's not ready to play. Like, I don't know why he did not play, but he didn't. And that's a guy who I figure 5-star basketball players don't usually come in and sit on the bench. That's just not something that happens very often. So I'll be curious to see if he's out there on Saturday. Maybe Matt McMahon will say something. Maybe he won't. We don't know him quite yet. But that, to me, was disappointing that your highest-rated recruit, who looks pretty explosive and you would think would be a big piece of the team, never saw the floor.
Yeah, you never know, and maybe if it's because they were in the zone, he felt like, against the zone is probably not the best matchup. There's no way to tell. You have to really kind of ask Coach McMahon and kind of see what type of flavor he's going to be. Is he going to be an Ed O type of guy? Is he going to be a Coach Kelly type of guy? Like, how's he going to go in some of these pressers? But, I think, like you said, anytime you got a 5-star guy, you got that for a reason, whether it's just elite athleticism, whether you just, score the ball extremely well. There's something for you to kind of gain that favor going into college basketball. So it's a long season, just the first game, but I'm intrigued to see kind of what his minutes will be by the end of it. We'll see how Coach McMahon plays it out.
So I've spoken with Coach McMahon a couple times on the air here. Obviously, we did the pregame interview where he came over and chatted, and I spoke with him a little bit before we went on there. He's just – you see him in the community. You see him he's just an incredibly nice guy who's fairly mild-mannered. So I was curious what he was going to look like on the sideline, and he does. He showed some fire, showed some emotion, showed some intensity. I figured that would be the case, but I'd never seen it. I don't watch a lot of Murray State basketball, so I just knew this guy to be a really nice, approachable, accommodating guy who's been nothing but that since the day he got into Baton Rouge, and so he cranked it up when he wasn't happy with either the officials or the way some of his guys were playing. So that gear is in there. I just didn't know. I didn't know.
Look, sometimes those competitive juices come out, and we've seen my man, Coach General Ray, get his share of technicals in SEC play.
I knew that was coming.
So we'll see if Coach McMahon got to dial it down. The refs, they always got to put their little impact in the game, but I think for the first game, they'll let them have those emotions, but we just got to make sure we don't get any text with that.
Couple of changes in the PMAC if you didn't watch the game or go to the game last night. Across from the benches used to be like an entire press row scorers table type thing. They had a lot of courtside seats, but it's where John Brady and Chris Blair sat. It's where the opposing media sat. It's where the TV crew sat, and they have taken that completely out. There's a little bitty scorers table there that's probably 4 feet long, and the rest of it is just courtside seats. So people now fans that are at the game have their feet on the floor, which has been a change from as long as I can remember the PMAC having that long scorers table right there, because the press is now up in the upper deck. The other change, I liked some of the things they did pregame with some video stuff. Look, the PMAC can be a good environment at times, maybe once, twice a year. Certainly not last night. It was a fine crowd for the home opener on a Wednesday against a school no one's ever heard of that just lost to a D2 school. It was a fine crowd. It certainly wasn't a bad crowd, but it wasn't exactly on fire. I mean, it was just a reasonable crowd. But they've changed the video sequencing a little bit. They play Colin Baton Rouge like right before the team comes on, which kind of gets it going. And then I believe, I can't be quoted on this, but I believe they use a little pumped in crowd noise after Colin Baton Rouge ends to kind of make it sound like it's going. There was a little more juice to the pregame, in my opinion, than there has been in the past. I mean, if Kentucky shows up, the place is fired up. But for a general game, I thought the little pregame video thing they did was a little bit more engaging. So that may be good. We'll see.
I don't mind a little pregame simulated crowd noise, but we can't turn.
No, we're not doing.
We can't turn into Starkville and get the cowbells going. Like, we're not doing that. It's a PMAC. Like,
I can't swear to it. I just thought it. I was listening. I was like, and it's. I mean, it sounds really realistic. And I was like, I think that's coming through the speakers that I can tell. I don't know. What I will tell you is the environment felt a little bit better with the new pregame video stuff. So that's stuff that LSU works really hard on. I know their creative team is phenomenal. Their video team is the best in the country. You look at social media impressions and what they do. I mean, they doubled second place. Now, we beat Alabama, which doesn't happen all the time, so they got a little assist there. But those guys and girls worked so hard. And I thought the video pregame was good, and I thought the energy in there was pretty good. So the McMahon era gets off to a start. They will be back in action against Arkansas State on Saturday after LSU goes final against Arkansas in football. A couple hours later in the PMAC, it'll be LSU and Arkansas State. So if you want to do something on Saturday afternoon, because you usually don't have that free because LSU's playing, and now you do because it's a morning game, head out into the PMAC, see a little bit of basketball. We'll see if the Tigers can improve upon an 11-point win against Kansas City. Incidentally, had a listener text me, said, hey, there's a prop bet here for Adam Miller over under 8.5 points. I said, hammer that. He did. Cashed right after halftime. So well done, Justin. Well done. All right, we'll take a timeout. Come back with Luke Johnson on the Black and Gold. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
LWCC elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana.
Yeah, Molly Kimball is a registered dietitian, nutrition journalist, and founder of Ochsner Eat Fit, created in 2013 as a resource for all things wellness. Eat Fit is a nonprofit initiative of Ochsner Health that works to make the healthy choice the easy choice through collaborative partnerships with restaurants, markets, and other food service establishments.
I had no idea what the Eat Fit icon on the menus were. I knew I saw it all the time at restaurants, and I didn't really know what it was. Just thought, oh, there's probably a healthy choice, and it is, thanks to Molly Kimball, who's working with 500 program partners across our great state, keeping people fed, keeping people healthy, keeping people enjoying the great food in our great state. In addition to Eat Fit, Molly works to bridge the gap between the idea of wellness and real life through other ventures like her Weedly podcast, her weekly TV segment on WGNO. Molly Kimball is this month's Champion of Louisiana. If you know a person like Molly, a nonprofit, an entity that is doing awesome work in Louisiana, let us tell their story. We really, really want to. Go to lwcc.com/Louisiana Loyal and nominate someone to be a Champion of Louisiana. Who knows? We could be telling their story here next month. But this month, all month long, telling you about Molly Kimball, this month's Champion of Louisiana, presented by LWCC.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Ryan Clark joins us. Mike Triplett talking Saints. Quinn Grovey from the Arkansas Sports Radio Network, 3 to 6. Join us, AFR, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Luke Johnson covers the black and gold for The Advocate, joins us every Thursday here. Luke, I'd start with a Ravens question, but nobody wants to talk about that. Your alma mater got a big win on Saturday. How was that?
Yeah, it was awesome because I wrapped up my work at 5:30. It was enough time for me to throw a pizza in the oven, have it ready for kickoff, and I didn't move for 3.5 hours. It was incredible.
It was a fun one in Tiger Stadium for those who attended. All right, let's go to the Ravens game. I struggle to put any lipstick on that one. They just got their butts kicked.
Yeah, I mean, I did the rewatch post yesterday, or go back through the game every week and just kind of offer some more detailed takeaways. And it's just you could drop in that game at any and just see why the Ravens completely dominated that game. And really, it started up front, both sides of the ball. The Ravens just kind of controlled it. And right now, with the way the Saints offense is, if you're able to stop the running game, you stop the Saints offense dead in its tracks. And that's exactly what Baltimore did. I think AK only had 2 series longer than 4 yards in the game. They were just kind of consistently in those third and medium, third and longs, just kind of allowed Baltimore to just tee off on the Saints offensive line. It wasn't like they were doing anything crazy. They weren't sending a ton of pressures. I think on 35 dropbacks, there was 6 or 7 total blitzes. It was confusing the Saints front. It was kind of like the same issues we were seeing early in the season, where they'd be 4 guys coming on a rush. The Saints would have 5 or 6 guys blocking. They'd only block 3 guys. 4 of the sacks Andy dropped within 3 seconds. It's just it's unacceptable, and led to the type of performance we saw, which is they were not competitive.
This is the locker room of guys that haven't lost a lot in their careers. Do you sense any frustration?
Yeah, I do. I think kind of throughout the season, about the only time it's felt normal in the Saints locker room is leading up to and after the Raiders game, their best game of the season. Guys are absolutely frustrated with this. They're not going to say it as much in their public comments. Guys are saying, stick with us, we'll figure it out. But they're frustrated, man. And every week is just a repeat of the week before, which I think does fall on the players. They're not executing at the level they're typically accustomed to. But the fact that the same problems are popping up week after week, I think that's on the coaches too. And I think the players recognize that. So, the fact of the matter is they are only 1 game back in the division, but they're absolutely running out of time because, I don't think you can just count on the Bucs and the Falcons to just continue losing games. You got to turn it on at some point if you have any hope of getting this thing righted.
We saw the Saints really play well against a bad Raiders team. Do you think that was more of an anomaly, or do you think that's something they could replicate against another bad team this week against the Steelers?
No, I think that's who they're capable of being, for sure. But they can't have this situation where one area falters. I think they have to be locked in and locked on. You look at what when this team is going right there, stopping the run defensively, they're getting after the passer with their defensive line, and they're running the ball offensively. And I think those are 3 things that you look at what the Steelers have done this year. The Steelers haven't run the ball well. The Steelers have had a hard time protecting Kenny Pickett, who's been sacked 11 times in 4 starts. And they're not a very good run defense. They're not a very good defense, generally speaking. I think they're 27th against the pass. They are just coming off a bye, and they still have allowed the most passing touchdowns in the NFL. So you can see a path where the Saints could go up there and win a game going away, the way they did against the Raiders. But I just don't, it's kind of something I've been saying on the show throughout the season. You don't trust them to do that because they haven't been able to do it more than 1 time this year. So, I think they could go up there, and I think they could beat the Steelers and have the game and not be that competitive in the 4th quarter. But I can't say that I'm confident they'll be able to do that because week in, week out, we're looking at a team that's messing up things you'd expect it to succeed at.
Let's talk about some first-round picks, Luke. Where are you in terms of their play this year, contracts moving forward with Peyton Turner and Marcus Davenport?
Well, Davenport's a tricky one. The Saints have just always said how confident they are in him, how much they believe in him. But the fact of the matter is that he hasn't produced this year.
Yeah, there's no production, none.
He's been healthy this year, right? I think he's played in every single game. And outside of the Raiders game, I think he had like a half sack and no tackles for loss. That's not a guy you hand a second contract to, or at least a big one, right? But they're in kind of a tough spot with him because they converted a big chunk of the salary into bonus that they're spreading out in future years. I'm assuming because they anticipated they'd make a charge toward re-signing him. I don't know if that's a wise option right now. At least not anything long term, right? But you're going to have dead money on your cap if you just let him go. Peyton Turner, I think the book is still out on him. I remember coming on your show in training camp and talking him up. I thought he was a beast. But he's another guy who hasn't stayed healthy, and he's still technically in his rookie season, right? I think he's only played like 13 or 14 NFL games. The flashes are there, and I think he flashed again last week against Baltimore. He made a couple really nice stops in the run game and had some pressures in the passing game, but it's inconsistent. So, I think it's way too early to say what he's going to be. That said, I think they do have some young players who are playing pretty well. Olave and Alontae Taylor are obviously having very good rookie seasons. Cesar Ruiz is really coming on. I think he's played very well. Pete Werner, last year's second-round pick, is obviously off to a great start this year. I don't know if he's going to play this week. I kind of doubt it, but their cupboard's not completely bare with some of these guys on the rookie contracts. They're going to have some decisions coming up, especially with Davenport.
I haven't followed this, which is why I'm going to ask you. I couldn't find any information. What's the latest on Trevor Penning?
So I would say he's still probably at least 2 weeks away. He's out of the walking boot. He's finally kind of doing some work. Like, he was on a scooter, like not even able to put weight on his foot for like a couple months. And then he was in a walking boot for a couple of weeks. He's out of that. We actually saw him today at practice doing some work off to the side. But that's the deal where if you're a big offensive lineman, I think you kind of need a little bit of time to work yourself back into playing shape after basically not putting any weight on your foot for a couple months. So I would say at least 2 weeks away, if not more.
Obviously, the huge departure of Sean Payton. I think a lot of Saints fans are probably missing that guy calling plays. What do you think Carmichael can do differently, basically, so you don't see a performance like you saw against the Ravens?
I just think he needs to do a better job of getting his best players the ball. I don't think there's any excuse for Taysom Hill not touching the ball very much in the last game. When we saw him in the game, they moved the ball. And then they would go long spurts without letting him touch the ball, and their offense dragged. The same thing with Alvin Kamara. I mean, when their offense has gone well, they've been feeding him the ball, whether it's through the air or as a runner. And when their offense isn't going well, he's not touching the ball. And I just think that when they're in a situation like they're in right now, where they're missing so many guys on that side of the ball, like, you got to force feed those guys. You got to let them carry you. And then everything else can be built around that. I think there's been moments when Pete has done a really nice job as a play caller, and then he goes away from the things that work well, and I don't really get it.
Enjoy Pittsburgh, Luke. Underrated city. I very much enjoyed my time there in 2011.
Yeah, that was awesome. I had a few too many beers the night before the game in West Virginia, and then I had a few too many beers at the game in West Virginia. So I'm hoping I remember a little bit more of this trip.
There's moonshine down there too. But yeah, enjoy it. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
That's Luke Johnson of The Advocate, by Luke Johnson on Twitter. We had a blast in Pittsburgh. We stayed in Pittsburgh before the West Virginia game, and we went to the Pirates-Reds game. And I remember very distinctly there were like 6 of us there, and they played a ad on the billboard at like the top of the 7th on the jumbotron. It said, 3 Rivers Casino, walking distance to PNC Park. and all 6 of us kind of looked at each other like, we're done with the Pirates and the Reds. We got to walk to this casino. So we went there. A couple things at the casino. One, you have to pay for your drinks at the casino, which was garbage. I did not like that. 2, Notre Dame played Pitt that next day. Mike Golick was in the poker room. Saw him there. I didn't go in the poker room because I don't want to lose all my money at poker. But it was the PNC was gorgeous. Downtown Pittsburgh was nice and clean. The hotel we were in was awesome. I think of Pittsburgh as like this dump. Obviously, you spent a lot of time in Pittsburgh playing in the division. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, I didn't like Pittsburgh. Different feels for me. A lot of booze, a lot of get out of here, so I didn't have the best of times. So maybe I should have won with Brad Wing with his opponent there. Maybe I got a little more, put a little black and gold on. Maybe that could have blended in. But no, I'm only getting the Boo Birds when I go to Pittsburgh.
Brian Burgess says, did it eat Permanente Brothers? No, but look, they got sandwiches, a bunch of French fries on them. I would probably like that. I like French fries. I like sandwiches. I'd be all about it. I'm not huge on coleslaw, so I don't know if you can dump that on the sandwich like they do, but we'll see. I enjoyed my time in Pittsburgh. It's probably going to be freezing. Based on the temperature that it's going to be in Fayetteville on Saturday, I can't imagine Pittsburgh's going to be balmy, so probably going to be chilly for the Saints up there on Sunday, but see if they can go take care of business. We appreciate Luke for checking in with us each and every Thursday. We'll come back and close out hour number 1 next. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045 ESPN.
FanDuel's got all your favorite bets. They got the money line, point spreads, player props, and you can combine those bets for your chance at a bigger payout with those same game parlays that Jeremy's telling you about. It's all in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Sign up today with the promo code 1045 ESPN for your no-sweat first bet. That is promo code 1045 ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues, no trouble free bet expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Jimmy Ott and Charles Henniger for the Thursday evening edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're downtown at Jolly Pearl Oyster Bar on North facing Town Square. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
ESPN Baton Rouge is pumped up to see pro hockey coming back to the Raising Cane's River Center this winter. Tickets start at just $10 for the games at Ticketmaster.com and the Raising Cane's River Center box office. Keep listening for your chance to win some from us and sign up to win at 1045ESPN.com. Jeremy, I have a confession to make. We cover sports here, certainly pay attention to the NFC South. The black and gold just had Luke on. One game out of first place, they tell me. I'm not watching the Falcons and Panthers tonight. That's just not in my Thursday night plans. Is that okay with you if I don't watch it?
Yeah, it's fine with me, man. I mean, you can watch the former XFL quarterback and the number 2 overall pick, Marcus Mariota, man. It's Mariota.
It's simply not in the cards for me. So Citizens Bank poll question of the day. I think we got a lot of Saints fans that follow the Twitter account. Are you watching Falcons Panthers? Because generally speaking, if you're a Saints fan over the last 15 years – and you're one game out of first place, and that first place team is playing in primetime, like, you're going to watch that game. I'm just curious if the Saints fans have just kind of checked out on that or if they're locked in. I don't know. But I'm not watching the game. We're not talking about it tomorrow because we got other things to do on a football Friday with LSU playing. So it will not be covered on the show. I got nothing for Baker Mayfield. No, he's not. Who's this CFL
PJ Walker.
PJ Walker. I'm not watching that, or Marcus Mariota. That's not in my plans for Thursday. I might watch some Arkansas YouTube highlights. I might watch one of my golf YouTube videos from the No Laying Up crew. I might just hang out with a kid. I'm not watching the Falcons and Panthers.
At least you used to get Cam Newton if you were watching, and maybe a little Matty Ice, a little Julio. We got the real Matty Ice in LA now, though. The real guy.
They're really hot. They're playing well.
The former DoorDash driver. But yeah, those matchups used to be a lot different. So yeah, I could see a Thursday night where I'm watching Cam Newton against Julio and the crew. But this is just. It's a different beast right here. So I'm still going to tune in because I'm just a football junkie. But, it is what it is. Thursday night has not been well for the NFL.
No, it has not gone well. And this is just, Herb Street. So Herb Street was on that nightcap recap with Fowler. They were talking, where are you for this game? And he's got so much going on. He's got a Thursday night NFL game. He's got to go to the game day site for Friday, do the interviews, do game day Saturday morning, then go to wherever he's going for the Saturday night game that he's going to call. So he's at 3 different locations every Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So he was saying, he's like, oh, where am I? I don't even know where I am on Thursday. So, it's kind of a week-to-week thing for him. I'm guessing when he looked up and saw that he's going to Charlotte to watch the Falcons and Panthers. It's a short flight. He lives in Nashville, I guess, so that's the one good thing, but not a good matchup. The Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite on the road. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think, obviously they played really well in that building and kind of took them by surprise, but just seeing what the Bengals just did to them last week, their run game was non-existent all year. This is the last team you want to be running into. When they got Cordero Patterson, they got Mariota in the run game, they're going to run it down your throat, and I just think that's just a bad matchup for the Panthers. So I'll take the Falcons with the 2.5.
Yeah, you're supposed to take home dogs. Isn't that like the NFL thing? You got to take those dogs at home. I don't know how much action I could take on the Carolina Panthers. That just seems like a fool's errand at this point. Over/under is 41, so not exactly expecting a shootout in Charlotte. That's got to be one of the shortest over/unders I've ever seen in the NFL. 41 points.
Yeah, that's bad, man. But look, it's the quarterbacks, man. I know Vegas, they're going to look at those quarterbacks and think, how are they going to light the world on fire with the air? The running game's going to run the clock out. Even if you have a great day running, it's going to run so much clock out of that game. And, I don't know, man. That's a great number because I could still see it going under that 41.
Would not be good if it was. Professional golfers John Peterson and J.J. Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. I'll quickly get you ready for a Football Friday tomorrow. As we tell you, we're live and local all day on Fridays. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning with the OTB boys. They'll go 7 to 10. Jimmy Ott's game time from 10 to noon at Rufino's. Charlie sits in with him. Then they just continue on with the anytime, which is Jimmy and Charlie from 12 to 1. We got you from 1 to 3. Matt drives you home from 3 to 6 at 6 o'clock. Louisiana Prep Preview will get you ready for the first round of the Louisiana High School playoffs, and they will have Louisiana Prep scoreboard until midnight tomorrow. So 7 a.m. to midnight, live and local here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you missed any of the first hour today, you can catch that on demand at 1045ESPN.com on the On Demand tab. Also catch it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you catch your audio, you can catch Hunt and Hill. We open up the show. I'm concerned about Arkansas a little bit. Everyone tells me I'm an idiot. I kind of laid out the reasons why I'm a little concerned about Arkansas, and Jeremy attempted to knock those right out of my head. We talked about LSU's basketball win last night at 1:15, and Luke Johnson on the Saints at 1:30. Big second hour coming at you. We're going to talk about the best win and worst loss on the board in college football and the National Football League, and we'll come back after Sports Center. We'll be joined by Andrew Hutchinson from the Best of Arkansas Sports. He covers the Razorbacks and will give us an update on KJ Jefferson and Sam Pittman's program as LSU prepares to head to Northwest Arkansas. Come back after Sports Center with us. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Attorney General in Washington, D.C. files a civil lawsuit against the Commanders and the NFL. Carl Racine is accusing them of colluding to deceive fans about the league's investigation of the team's toxic workplace. Team owner Daniel Snyder and Commissioner Roger Goodell are also named in that suit. No practice again today for Bills quarterback Josh Allen with a right elbow injury. ESPN's Rob Ninkovich says the Bills need to be cautious.
He has an ulnar collateral ligament sprain. And when you say sprain, there could be maybe a little bit of tear there. There could be something that we don't know about. But also with an ulnar collateral injury comes some nerve issues, maybe gripping, maybe some fingertip numbness.
Rob Ninkovich on Get Up. Nike co-founder Phil Knight tells CNBC he doubts the company will stay in business with Nets guard Kyrie Irving. Nike suspended its relationship with Irving last week and canceled plans to release a new shoe after Irving used social media to promote an anti-Semitic book and movie.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2 on a Thursday, working towards the weekend. Tigers and Hogs up in Northwest Arkansas on Saturday morning. We head up to Northwest Arkansas. That's where we'll find Andrew Hutchinson, covers the Hogs for Best of Arkansas Sports. Andrew, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing very well. Any truth to the rumors that they're planning on moving this football game into Bud Walton to accommodate these Louisiana boys who don't care about 35-degree weather?
Well, I'll just say I'm glad I'm going to be in the press box. I just hope they close the windows and turn on the heat because it is going to be a very, very cold day. It's too bad they couldn't move it up to today. I mean, I'm looking outside right now, and the sun is shining. It's like 70-something degrees. It's beautiful. I wish they were playing today.
Yeah, that cool weather is coming in on the weekend. The buzz around here, and very likely up there as well, has been the health and status of KJ Jefferson. We know that he was very limited at practicing at all last week. The Arkansas offense wasn't very good on Saturday, and then yesterday we got the update from Sam Pittman that it's been kind of off and on this week for him. Do you know anything more?
I don't know anything more than what's come out yesterday with Sam Pittman, but trying to read between the lines as someone who's covered Sam Pittman the last 3 years, it doesn't sound encouraging for KJ Jefferson. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to play on Saturday, but just seeing how he played last weekend against Liberty after not really practicing much and obviously playing through some pain, I don't think he would be that effective. Is he going to be better than a healthy Malik Hornsby, the backup quarterback? I'm not sure. So I think we're going to see both quarterbacks on Saturday. I would be shocked if KJ plays the entire game like he did against Liberty. But it is definitely something to watch. It's really hard to figure out kind of exactly what's going to happen, but I don't have a warm and fuzzy feeling about KJ Jefferson being, full strength, ready to go against LSU.
What injury are we talking about, or are there multiple injuries, and how is it limiting him when he was out there on Saturday?
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a bruised clavicle. It's kind of in that shoulder area, his throwing shoulder, and apparently he has pain every time he throws the ball. And you can kind of tell he doesn't quite have the same zip on the ball as he does. he's one of the best deep ball passers in the country, and he just did not look it against Liberty. He tried one deep ball against Liberty, and it was it just kind of floated more. It didn't have the same just, on a rope like it usually does, and it was intercepted. And he's one of the least interception-prone quarterbacks in the country. And to see that pass against Liberty was quite jarring. That's whenever I was like, oh, man, this guy is not the same as he usually is. Now, he still gutted it out and nearly led a comeback against Liberty. He had Arkansas to go on two long touchdown drives on its final two possessions and get a 2-point conversion on both of them to force overtime. They ended up coming just inches shy of scoring that second 2-point conversion with about a minute left that would have tied it up, and who knows what happens in overtime. So he's a warrior, and I give him a lot of credit for that. But I just don't know if he could do that against a much more physical, SEC type defense against LSU.
Never in my 30 years of living, I thought I would see not one, but two fighting Tigers of LSU taking their talents to Arkansas. But the universe has its way of balancing itself out, so I'll take those two veteran DBs. Are you expecting any boo birds if Fouché or Brooks makes a play in Arkansas this weekend?
From the fans, absolutely, because I think that really rubbed the fans the wrong way. I think if you really take a step back and look at it, it makes sense considering Fouché and Brooks are both from the New Orleans area. They presumably grew up cheering for LSU. They weren't really recruited by the Tigers out of high school, but they came to Arkansas, had success, and then instead of playing, another year for the Razorbacks, they decided to pack up and go down to LSU. And fans haven't forgotten that. I think their old teammates, are a little bit more understanding because they understand, hey, you got to do what's best for you and everything like that. And of course, kids don't always, look at it the same as fans do. But I fully expect some boo birds when they come out on the field on Saturday from the fans for sure.
He's on Twitter at NWA Hutch. Andrew Hutchinson of Best of Arkansas Sports, our guest here on Hunt and Hill. Let's continue with the offense here for Arkansas. We know that Rocket Sanders has had a sensational year and that they're going to try to run the football. It appeared that the offensive line just wasn't very good against Liberty, and Sam Pittman kind of said that on the teleconference yesterday. It's an experienced group. What was the issue?
Yeah, it was probably the offensive line's worst game of the season, and it's a unit that's one of the best in the country. According to Pro Football Focus and just looking at what the pieces are. I mean, they've been phenomenal all year. Going into that game, I thought that they were going to be, I even wrote this in my prediction, that Arkansas should be able to run all over Liberty. And that was the furthest from the truth. Liberty tried a lot of twists and movement up front, and for whatever reason, it bothered Arkansas. They couldn't stop it. And so many of their runs were just stopped in the backfield. I mean, there were 14 tackles for loss by Liberty. That's the most Arkansas has given up in more than 2 decades. And it was just very jarring to see because, again, this is a defensive line for Liberty. You wouldn't have been particularly surprised if it had happened against Alabama or against Georgia last year or even this weekend against LSU because, again, these are teams that you expect to be really, really talented on the defensive line. But for whatever reason, Liberty just gave them all sorts of fits. I know that it's going to be addressed. It is a veteran group of guys that have played for a lot of snaps in their careers. And so I expect them to be better. But again, they're also going up against a more talented defensive line of LSU. And I would not surprise me if LSU kind of saw what the Liberty did on film and tries to implement it some this weekend.
Traylon Burks was a star in Northwest Arkansas. He now sits on the injured reserve portion of my fantasy football bench for the Titans, but how have they replaced him on the outside?
Yeah, so it's been by more of a committee. There's not been one go-to guy, although there's been 2 guys that have kind of emerged as the top guys, and that would be Jaden Hazelwood, the transfer from Oklahoma, former 5-star recruit, and then Matt Landers, who is a transfer from Toledo, who actually began his career at Georgia. Landers is a deep threat. He's the guy that you got to watch on deep balls, kind of like you saw with Traylon Burks last year. But then Burks was also a really good possession receiver who could get you a lot of yards after the catch, and that's what Jaden Hazelwood has been for Arkansas. He's been really good in the slot, actually playing Burks' position But then they've also got some other guys. Keytron Jackson is a young guy. He's a sophomore that's I thought has come on and gotten better each week. He's a guy that can make plays for you. And then Warren Thompson's probably been the more disappointing guy of the group. Hasn't had as big of a year as I maybe thought he would have, but he's capable of making a play here and there. So it's been a more committee approach, whereas last year it was Traylon Burks or you're running the ball. So they've spread it out a little bit as far as the passing game is concerned.
Two-part question for you here. Read an article earlier this year by Kent Smith, and he's comparing Rocket Sanders to the great Darren McFadden. I think that's blasphemy based off what I watched in 2007. What do you think about that? And second, do you think Rocket Sanders can have that type of performance against LSU this weekend that Darren McFadden had in 07?
If you look at the numbers, before last week especially, Rocket Sanders was actually tracking ahead of Darren McFadden's numbers, through 8 games. And obviously, in the 9th game of Darren McFadden's 2007 season, he ran for 321 yards against South Carolina. And in Rocket Sanders' 9th game, he ran for 60 yards against Liberty. So he's not tracking ahead of pace of his 2007 season, but Rocket Sanders is just a sophomore. When Darren McFadden was a sophomore in 2006, he was having numbers very, very similar to Rocket Sanders. And this is a guy that was a wide receiver when he came to Arkansas. This is only his 2nd year truly playing running back, and he's doing it phenomenally, I think. So I'm okay with the comparisons. I'm still leaning toward Darren McFadden. I was a lot younger. I was still a fan at that point whenever I watched Darren McFadden, so he's kind of got that sentimental spot for me. But I think Rocket absolutely is Arkansas's best running back they've had since Darren McFadden at the least, and who knows how it develops down the rest of the season. One way he could maybe assert himself in that conversation further would be a big game against LSU. I know LSU fans remember what Darren McFadden did in 2007, that triple overtime game, and knocking off the number 1 Tigers. I don't know if he's going to be able to do something like that. It's going to require a better offensive line performance than what Arkansas got this past weekend. But if he gets some holes, I could see him absolutely having a monster game against the Tigers. And Arkansas probably needs that, especially if KJ's not able to go. They need Rocket to have a huge game just to have a chance on Saturday.
Chatting with Andrew Hutchinson. A couple of big picture questions before we let you go. Obviously, Sam Pittman inherited a mess. And what he did in the COVID year and then last year showed a ton of progress, and there were a lot of expectations. They had a really nice start. Things have been a little bumpy over the last month. What's kind of the mood in Fayetteville?
Yeah, the natives are getting a little restless because I think they thought that they were going to be able to take that next step forward. And technically, Arkansas could still finish with the same record as they did last year, but that requires beating LSU, a top 10 team, beating Ole Miss, a top 10 team, or I don't know what they're ranked right now, but they're a highly ranked team, and then going on the road and beating Missouri, which most people think you should do, but has been tricky for Arkansas. So I think they're getting a little upset, and I know, as y'all know, fans can be a little bit overreactionary, and when they lost to Liberty, there were fans calling it the worst loss in school history. And I'm like, guys, we're not that far removed from Chad Morris, who got blown out by North Texas, got blown out by Western Kentucky. And I'm like, it's not that bad. Liberty's a good team. I mean, they're coached by Hugh Freeze, and I think everyone knows he's a great coach, and they're a top 25 team. So it's not near the same, but I get it. I get fans that are upset. They expected Arkansas to win 9 games this year in the regular season, or maybe 10, and compete for the West, kind of like what we're seeing what LSU is doing this year. So they're a little upset, but I don't know if the majority of the fan base is ready to fire them just yet.
With all that said, the energy, the environment, the weather, how do you expect the stadium to look at 11 o'clock on Saturday?
It is LSU. It's a team Arkansas fans view as a rival. The battle for the Gold Boot is a big deal in Arkansas. So I think it's going to be a pretty good crowd. I think I'm not a outdoorsman, but I think it might be deer hunting season opening up this weekend, so that might have an impact on it, plus the cold weather, as you said. So I expect it to be a good crowd, maybe not a sellout crowd, maybe not like what it would be if Arkansas was, say, 7-2 coming into this game, and it had really, major SEC West implications. But I still do think it's going to be a good atmosphere.
Andrew, thanks so much for your time. We'll chat on Saturday morning.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
He's Andrew Hutchinson at NWA Hutch on Twitter. He is with Best of Arkansas Sports. Andrew had a couple comments there that I want to touch on, so we'll react to what he had to say next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction. Check them out, reliableroofingbr.com.
So happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
30 years of roofing experience, all in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Lionel Hayes, born and raised here, loves working in his community. I've told you this story a number of times over the last couple of weeks, but it rings true for a lot of people, so we're going to keep repeating it. A lot of homeowners insurance carriers are pulling out of Louisiana. Mine did. I had UPC. They're out of here. So if you're going to have to switch, oftentimes the new carrier is going to come on and inspect that roof, and they're not going to insure your home if they don't think the roof is quality. If that's the case and you need someone to come in and help you with your roofing needs so you can get insurance placed on your home, Reliable Roofing and Construction needs to be your first call. Every job comes with a 5-year labor warranty, and then Lionel Hayes is going to visit that job site because he does it every single time his crew works on a site. Reliable Roofing and Construction at reliableroofingbr.com is the website.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community.
We are the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a
On
on Fridays, OTB. It's Football Friday, and the Tigers are getting ready to take down the Hogs. Plus, is there any hope on the horizon for the Saints? How did the Pelicans do in their return home? Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, thanks to Andrew Hutchinson for jumping aboard, covering the Arkansas Razorbacks for Best of Arkansas Sports. I'll actually have him on the pregame show on Saturday as well. It'll be about 10 o'clock, an hour before kickoff. From what he just said there, KJ Jefferson's dealing with a bruised clavicle, bruised shoulder, collarbone area.
Yikes.
That's not going to get better if you continue to throw footballs and get hit. That's why when he goes out there and plays in the game on Saturday after not practicing, then he comes back, throws a little bit Monday, but can't on Tuesday because you're aggravating it. I'm not a doctor, but I mean, this is a reasonable thought process. So the question is, if you're Arkansas, do you want to keep sending him back out there at 70% so it can hurt more and he's just going to gut it through this last 4 games? Or do you want to give him 2 weeks off and let him try to come back against Ole Miss or Missouri?
It's a very, very tough question. I think for Arkansas, you gotta really wonder if it's a battle of the boot worth it, and even if it is, like I've seen quarterbacks get knocked out the first drive, the first series, and then even worse, he may be done for the year. And so, looking at this pass rush and kind of looking at that Liberty game, I just think he's got to be under fire all day. Especially if you can't, like you said, get Rocket Sanders going. It's going to have to be that Darren McFadden type day where he's just going up and down the field, really dominating you in the run game, and really you keep KJ out of harm's way. And then you can kind of mix some play action stuff and max protect stuff and keep him, protected. But if it's going to be kind of what you've seen, which is him actually running the ball, kind of gotten their way against A&M when he was healthy, tried to dive it in the end zone, probably shouldn't have done that. A&M probably be worse off right now. But I think for KJ, if I'm Arkansas, I don't know if I put him out there, especially if he's not practicing by today. That's just too much for me to do in a game like this.
I did watch the Liberty highlights last night, and that deep ball he's talking about, it just floated. I mean, he just can't drive the ball, and if you can't do that, especially when it's cold out there, like that just sounds absolutely miserable to go out there with a banged up shoulder in 35-degree weather, have 300-pound guys smashing me at the line of scrimmage and trying to throw the ball down the field. That sounds like a bad time, is what that sounds like.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think for them, they're battling to be bowl eligible. And I think anytime you're at 5 wins and you just got to get that 6th one.
Missouri, last game of the year. That's the one.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you got Ole Miss coming in the house next week, and then you got Missouri. I mean, Drinkwitz just got signed to an extension. Maybe it's a different Missouri team on the road. Big go out with a bang. But no, I think for me, looking at him how he's playing, it's just not the same guy, especially from last year and then at some points this year. That's not the same quarterback. So if he can't throw the deep ball against this pass rush, it's going to be a long day. So matter of fact, actually, I changed my mind. Yeah, let's get KJ out there, try to fight for 6 wins. Like
That's not very humane of you, Jeremy. I mean, you look, when I see Malik Hornsby, and I watched the highlights against Mississippi State, and he looked terrible, but I also see a little bit of Robbie Ashford, a guy that's fast and can run around, and if you don't cover long enough, hit a couple of big plays, maybe pick up some third, he's not a good thrower at all, but he's fast and he can run around. And so this is just a Hunt worry week. That's what you just labeled the entire week. I'm just concerned. I'm terrified. I just don't have the confidence I need to have. Maybe it shows up tomorrow. Man. It's a Football Friday. I'll put the purple and gold on. We'll be maybe feeling a little bit better. I'm just a little scared.
I'm not. I'm not at all, man. If this was kind of what we were seeing, like this is 3rd week of the season, and then you were getting Arkansas the way they were playing when they beat Cincinnati and they beat some of the teams they beat early on in the year, and then I'd be like, yeah, it could be a long day on the road at them, but I just think this team knows what's in front of them. I think Coach Kelly's really gotten the ear of that locker room. They kind of know what's expected of them, kind of fix special teams, not seeing all those blunders like we've kind of seen at some point in the season, and the offense is playing well, and I think this pass rush has got to get after them, and you're not being able to run up the middle with Wingo playing the way he is and Roy playing the way he is. I don't see it, man. I feel great about this game. And I said the Auburn game was unjinxable, and then we go down 17-0.
17-0.
And I was like, no, it's probably we still got a chance here. And then we see the strip sack, and I'm like, all right, we're good.
I'll say that. Like me, and I've praised Matt House for 3 weeks now. And so I'm not going to come off of that. I do feel good about the fact that Matt House has basically what is right now at this point a one-dimensional offense to look at. They're not throwing the ball down the field effectively. They do have a good running quarterback, no matter which one it is, and a solid running back behind a big, physical, veteran offensive line that just sucked last week. I don't know what else to say about it, but they've been pretty good the rest of the way. They knocked BYU all over the yard, and they scored a lot of points on Auburn too. So, I feel good about Matt House, doing that. But there's some playmakers there. The one other thing that we got to with Andrew in the last segment is talking about the environment. 35 degrees is not a lot of fun. However, if it's bright sunshine at 11 o'clock and the wind's not whipping, it's manageable, especially if they're in Northwest Arkansas. They know how to dress for that kind of stuff. They're not us from down here in the swamps that think that's unlivable, which I do, but they don't think that. I did not know it was deer season, which is a big win. I can remember very distinctly being in college and getting emails saying, hey, deer season's open. Who wants my football tickets? Those were flying everywhere come November. So hopefully everybody's in a deer stand in Arkansas coming up because they've lost. They lost to Liberty. Season's over. Forget about it. And hopefully the crowd is not all that good. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I remember playing there that last game of the year. I think it was 2012, and probably the coldest college game I've ever played in. Sleepy environment, very closer game than you probably want to be in, and it's just hard in that environment. So I thought it was a 2:30 game if I remember, but
yeah,
I think it could be very similar, where it's just like that sleepy environment. You don't get off to a fast start. They're going to be in it. They're going to be fighting for bowl eligibility in the battle of the boot. Got to shine that thing up. I honestly I never even saw it. Don't know who was carrying it around.
One time LSU won it and left it on the field, which is not a huge endorsement of the trophy, I'll be honest.
Exactly.
But again, back to my point that I made on Tuesday, it's like, we need to start caring because I don't want to lose to Arkansas anymore. We lost to Arkansas last year. It's not like we beat them more than they beat us, but it's not like it was Mississippi State where we beat them 21 out of 22 or something. Like they're competitive.
Yeah, that 07 game was probably one that they better remember forever. But normally when we're up and rolling, that's just something that I think, I don't really think it's a big deal for us, especially 2011. They got out to that great lead and kind of just went really bad. That's the kind of Arkansas I remember, and Arkansas I love. So go Hogs, Suey, or whatever y'all say.
I think Brian Burgess has had it with me this week. He said, I just can't see the backup quarterback beating LSU if they can't even beat Liberty. Quit worrying. That's a reasonable point, Brian. I can't argue with that, but I'm just telling you the way that I feel. And they're going to be fired up to play. They got a couple of guys. I just watched Auburn go up 17-0 on us. I can't. This team has been so great the last 3 weeks. And if they play like that on Saturday, lights out in the fourth quarter, I might go play golf or something. But if they play like they have at the beginning of some games, and to me that's still in their DNA a little bit. Hopefully they turn the corner. We'll play this thing out and we'll know. And maybe I'll just be dead wrong, like I've been dead wrong for every pick I've made the entire season. I'm not trying to suggest I have a good feeling about what this team is or isn't going to do. I'm wrong every single week. I'm well aware of it. I know it, and hopefully I'm wrong again this time. But I think it's less nervous about the play on the field for me, about the 11-on-11, get out there and play football. It's what's at stake. And we've gotten to this point that I did not think we would get to. And now I'm like, oh my God, it's like the dog chasing the car that caught the car. And I was like, oh, what do I do now? And I just don't want it to get away. That's more so what I'm feeling.
Yeah, no, look, I'm in the camp. I like a little last week action, a little drama, a little build-up. You and Matt seem so opposed to that.
Yeah, because last week I knew it was a free swing. I was like, let's beat these guys. And if we lost, it's year one under Kelly. Whatever. We weren't even supposed to win.
Oh, man, look, I think if we want to get back to the program that we remember all growing up, being a part of, going to school, and seeing, walking into 10-win seasons, these are the games you just can't lose. Like, you can't lose to an Arkansas team whose quarterback is unhealthy, who just lost to Liberty. They're at the rails right now. You got to put your foot on that throat, keep it there, and I think that's a version of the Tigers you're going to see on Saturday.
Bro, Big Mike in the Bayou Ford chat. They're still getting on to me for me pulling for Alabama on Saturday, which I'm doing very hard, especially if we win the ballgame against Arkansas so we can win the West. He now wants to call the show Huntsville and Hill. Huntsville, Alabama. That works. I will be Huntsville to the core at 2:30 if we can finish off Arkansas up there in D.W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium for sure. So, all right, we'll put a bow on this thing tomorrow. We'll get our last preview. We'll make our pick at the end of the show. We'll see how things look. But I just want him to go out there and win, and then Bama to win, and I don't have to worry anymore. At that point, it's like, all right, we're going to Atlanta. We got Georgia. We win the West. That'd be a big deal. So hopefully we get that done on Saturday. Who would have thought we'd be having that conversation to this point? When we come back, our weekly segment, got best win and worst loss on the board in the NFL and college football. Stick with us. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Tell you every day about One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com. Not the greatest time to move, but if you want something that is going to help you out in terms of your living space currently, One Bath and Closets is your stop. How much do we pay attention to closets? The women do. I don't know how much the men do. My wife wants new closets every day. I'm going to have to get on the horn with One Bath and Closets, and they do two things. They can optimize the space that you already have, or they can renovate, and they're a licensed contractor. They can come in, knock out walls, open up some space, and create a new gorgeous closet for you. The process starts with a questionnaire, and David Duvall and his crew come in and say, okay, what do you have? How many pairs of shoes do you have? How many suits do you have? How many dresses do you have? Okay, what kind of space do we have? What do you want? And once that process is done, they can design something customized for you. That's an awesome part of One Bath and Closets. They also do awesome bathroom remodeling. Check out the website, onebathandclosets.com. You can look through their gallery. The tub to shower conversions are a hit. Take out that tub that's sitting there in your bathroom and put in a gorgeous walk-in shower. If you don't take baths, you just want a walk-in shower that looks a little bit nicer, they can do that for you at One Bath and Closets. The website is onebathandclosets.com, and I'll leave you with this. If you tell them that Hunt and Hill sent you, when you get a new closet, get a closet job done, 30% off at One Bath and Closets. The website, again, is onebathandclosets.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste.
First round of the Prep Football Playoffs, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Then join us at 10 p.m. for the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, best win, worst loss time. We do it every Thursday. We'll start in college football with the best win on the board. For me, give me TCU. They sneak into the top 4 this weekend. Feel like they might be trying to fight off the SEC. And they go on the road to Texas. And Texas isn't a world beater, but Texas is a 7-point favorite in this game. And so it's really the last chance TCU has until the conference championship game, kind of make a statement. You're going in there. There's 95,000 people there. People are paying attention. College game day, I think, is there, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. So, look, to me, TCU winning the game at Texas as a 7-point dog would be a big feather in their cap. It's not as good as some of the other teams have, but it's something they've got to have if they want to make it to the playoffs. So, for me, the best win going to be TCU at Texas.
Yeah, I saw the TCU coach calling Bijan Robinson Adrian Peterson. Like, I don't know what's going on. Rocket Sanders, Darren McFadden. Maybe I'm the old gump on the porch that's like, what are you guys talking about? But I don't see that comparison.
That's pretty good.
He's
Adrian Peterson, maybe the best ever. So.
like that's what I said. I'm like, I can make a case Corum is better than Bijan Robinson. I would take Jahmyr Gibbs over that guy, but that's just me. But look, that's another conversation. I'm gonna go with the only person in Baton Rouge, the only person in the state of Louisiana that is picking the Ole Miss Rebels to take down Alabama. Best one on the board, Ole Miss taking down Bama. I'm sick of Alabama. I want them to have 4 losses. I want everyone in the portal. I want Saban to fire the whole staff. I want them to lose everyone else. I'm sick of Alabama. And guess what? Next year they stink. You don't even have to worry about
Alabama. I'm sure that'll happen. I'm sure they'll be all like a 5 stars in this class. I'm sure they'll be trash next year. Come on. We take care of business. Just put on the houndstooth hat. Take the shaker out. $1 Million Band. Dreamland Barbecue. Roll Tide, Dixieland Delight.
Oh, my God. I thought I was going to hear a little Dixieland Delight.
Tebow cried, Cam lied, the trees died, Roll Tide.
A little full moon barbecue, Nick Saban, best, hottest football coach of all time. But no, listen, I want the Rebs to win this one, so give me the Rebs.
All right. That's a terrible take, but we'll take it. Worst loss on the board. This is a little bit of a stretch, but it would be the end of the line. So if it's the end of the line, it's got to be the worst loss on the board. Tennessee at home against a Missouri team that's starting to play a little bit of defense. I don't think they can play enough defense against Hendon Hooker, and I don't love their offense at all. But Tennessee got it handed to them a little bit. Now they come home, maybe not quite as much buzz. Who cares about Missouri? We'll roll out of bed and beat these guys. That'd be a bad loss, and I'd kind of like to see it, quite frankly.
Look, that would talk about moving up the CFP, the rankings that we don't really care about right now. But
we get rid of Tennessee. Tennessee's done if they lose, and if we're going to live in this world where we're still talking about playoffs, which I guess we have to, I'd rather Tennessee just get on down the road. So Missouri, come on now.
Well, since we're talking about getting teams off the road, where's the Pirate at? I need the Pirate on the show. I need him in the chat because I'm actually going to go for the little Cowboys. What do y'all do? Ringy dingy 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 ding the Cowboys.
Clanga is the preferred
Mississippi
terminology.
State. Actually, this is the worst loss. So I need Georgia to lose this football game against Mississippi State, get the cowbells going, get leads. Look, these players want to sit down. They want to enjoy their Gatorade, enjoy their water, nice place to sit. Don't make Leach pick the seats up again, guys. We need the best effort we've seen all season long. Upset the dogs, going into the SEC championship weekend, then the doors just open. Right.
Does deer season impact the Mississippi State crowd? It sounds like it does the Arkansas crowd. It feels like might affect the Mississippi State crowd, certainly more than it would maybe an Ole Miss crowd. So, look, that's one of those deals where, to me, and we'll talk about the game tomorrow, when Mississippi State goes up against these elite teams, that offense just isn't going to get it done, I don't think. So I think Georgia will smoke them. But that would be a bad loss if Georgia went on the road and lost Mississippi State. Best win in the NFL. Vikings keep winning games. I think I keep tossing them into this. It's like biggest win. Now they're going to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Josh Allen might not play. That's a pretty nice spot for Minnesota. With the Packers are just terrible. So now in Minnesota, you can start talking about getting home field. I mean, that'd be a huge win to go to Buffalo and win.
Yeah, that'll be a big time for Captain Kirk. I know he's liking to take his shirt off now, put all the chains on. He's dancing around, having a good time. Everyone's liking that. So, yeah, you really like that if you go beat Buffalo and ruin their season. I'm going to stay with a little NFC North flavor and go with the best one on the board. Sorry, Taylor Sharp, but it's the Green Bay Packers. I think right now of all times, we know Aaron Rodgers has owned the Cowboys, but this is a little different flavor. This is Michael Parsons and the crew getting after the passer. But as of today, they're 2 games back of the wild card spot. So winning this game definitely helps their chances of trying to get back in that race. I think the division is probably going to be a little out of touch, but they can try to fight for that 7th seed. And if you lose this game, those dreams are probably out of the window. You're already hearing the Jordan Love talk. You lose this one, it's going to be bad times for the Packers. So best one on the
board. Aaron might be ready to get on down the road. Might have had enough of this National Football League. Worst loss on the board in the National Football League. The Giants' record is rock solid. They're going to Houston. Oh, no, sorry, they're not going to Houston. Houston's coming to New York. Can't lose to them if you're going to try to keep pace with the Eagles, or at minimum, just try to improve your seed as a wild card. So, Giants, Houston coming to town. Can't lose that one.
Not taking my boy Sting, man. The best for no. I gotta get that the sauce. But Sting, man, a little LSU love.
Sting's playing well.
Yeah, no Sting love. All right, I guess no Sting. It's probably a bad day for my boy Sting. But actually, a worse loss. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs at home against the Fighting Trevor Lawrences and that bad Jacksonville football team. And for the Chiefs, just can't afford to lose this one. You're battling for the first overall playoff seed and getting that home first round bye. Home field throughout the playoffs. You're gonna be right there at Buffalo, and Buffalo has a big one this week too. But if you lose to this bad Jacks team, puts you at 3 losses, and then their schedule's tough down the stretch. Can't do that if you're the Chiefs. So, Chiefs, if you're at home, you got to win this home game against the bad Jacksonville Jaguars.
Remember when we thought the Jags were pretty good?
For like
what happened to that?
2 weeks.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
All right, well, I'll get you caught up on the schedule for Saturday, for your football Saturday here under the Guarantee roof. With an 11 o'clock kickoff, we changed things around a little bit. So, from 7 to 9, we will have Eagle 98.1 Game Day with Matt Musso and Charles Hannegriff. They will hand off to me on the LSU Sports Radio Network with Marlon Favorite and Brandon Taylor at 9 o'clock. We will go until 10:30. Then we'll throw it up to Fayetteville to the broadcast team of Gordy Rush, Doug Morrow, and the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. They will have the call of the game. 30 minutes after the game goes final, it'll be the LSU Fighting Tiger post-game report with myself, Brandon, and Marlon. Will be on for an hour. 90 minutes after it goes final, Charlie and Jeremy for 3 hours on Eagle 98.1 Game Day, the post-game show where you and Charlie will have to pull for Alabama. What a treat that should be. Y'all will be pulling for the Tide after we take care of Arkansas. It'll be a wonderful edition of Eagle 98.1 Game Day with Charlie and Jeremy both draped in crimson with a houndstooth hat. They might have a tattoo of Bear Bryant. You just never know what's going to happen on Eagle 98. But we'll crank things up at 7 a.m. It'll be a 3-hour post-game with the boys. We'll come back and close out a Thursday edition. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 104.5 ESPN.
You'll also get free bets if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. If you want to bet on P.J. Walker over passing yards, I'd probably go under because he didn't really play in the NFL as about a year ago. Kyle Pitts over receiving yards, pretty good one. DJ Moore, anytime to score a touchdown, not bad as well. Build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Sign up with the promo code 1045 ESPN if you don't have an account. If you do, you're all set. Just sign in and see what you've got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. 3 legs minimum. Minimum $1 bet required. Refund issues and non-withdrawable free bet that expires in 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel. to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Buffalo Bills and the Minnesota Vikings at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo welcome you to the 17th annual Zoo Run. The Zoo Run is Saturday, November the 12th. That is coming up in 2 days. It includes a 2-mile race and a half-mile kids fun run. After the race, you can stick around and enjoy complimentary refreshments and a day at the zoo. That registration is now open at brzoo.org. Going to be a chilly one at the Zoo Run, but I think that's good for long-distance runners. They like the cold weather. If it gets really hot, it makes it really difficult to run. So I was talking to somebody who ran the Boston Marathon one time, and he was like, "Yeah, it was like 39." I was like, "Oh, that sounds awful." He goes, "No, actually, your body warms up 20 degrees when you run a marathon. Not that 2 miles is a marathon, but so if it's 39. That's really like a 60-degree day. So that's perfect." All right, whatever you say.
I'll stick to my 110 test from Tommy Moffitt. I'll pass on the long distance. I don't know if my lungs can handle it.
I'll pass on all that, quite frankly. I'll just have a couple drinks on the couch.
There we go.
Pathetic, I know, but it is what it is. Sometimes you are who you are. All right, so let's close things up with a take it or leave it session, sir.
All righty, here, Nick Kelly of Tuscaloosa News, a very credible source that is, believes freshman forward Brandon Miller is not only the best player in the SEC, but he will win SEC Player of the Year this season. Brandon Miller, SEC Player of the Year, take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. Now, those that are going, who the heck is Brandon Miller? What is he? Basketball that he's talking about here. Brandon Miller is a really highly thought of recruit that Dado's landed at Alabama. He's an excellent player. The reigning National Player of the Year still plays in the SEC, and he gets about 86 rebounds a game, Oscar Tshiebwe. So he's a little banged up right now, but he's going to be back pretty quickly, and he's pretty good. So, yeah, Brandon Miller's good. I think Oscar Tshiebwe would probably be my pick at this point, but we'll just have to see. A week after saying that the best workplace environment in all of sports, Stan Snyder, the Commanders owner, has been sued by the D.C. Attorney General for an alleged collusion in a toxic workplace. Dan Snyder going to get voted out by the NFL owners before this season ends. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. It's never happened ever.
He lost Jerry. They used to be buddies.
Yeah, Jerry's trying to get that NFC championship game. That's what Jerry's worried about. But I don't think so. I think they'll force him to sell a team before they vote him out, because that's going to set a dangerous precedent. Like my man Dan said, he's like, Jimbo, I know where the dead bodies are here. I know where the dead bodies are. So I don't think anyone's going to ruffle feathers any that way. But this is just what can go wrong. We're going. Sorry, Taylor Show. I gotta give your Cowboys some love here. The Commanders have taken that mantle. What can go wrong will go wrong.
The Cowboys just lose in the playoffs. The Redskins football team Commanders are a laughingstock and breaking the law. I mean, it's not even. The Cowboys are funny to laugh at because Tony Romo can't hold a field goal or something. This is breaking the law and getting sued. So I mean, the organization is just a disaster, and they lose at football.
Yeah,
so just leave. If I was that rich, I do not need all this, pardon my French, BS. Go sell the team and do whatever you want. Go travel or play golf or build 6 houses. Just get out of the spotlight. You stink at it.
Yeah, I could see if you had a couple Super Bowls, want to kind of run the tally up, run the score up. You stink. Like you
They've
guys
had
haven't
more
done-
team names than playoff wins. 3 team names, 2 playoff wins.
Oh, it's so
it's
bad,
a disaster.
Man. Yeah, he's a bad. You talk about bad owners. You got the Knicks owner, and then I think Snyder. He's battling up there with him.
Who did he kick out? Was it
Oh, yeah.
Charles Oakley?
Yeah,
or
Oakley, yeah,
It
Oakley.
wouldn't let Oakley in the garden. All the Knicks fans like Oakley, and none of them like you, and you're kicking him out. Read the room.
Yeah, just bad. That's what bad owners do. All right. You'll love this one. You got a little experience here, Mr. Palmer. Georgia punter Brett Thorson. He took to social media to ask a bit of help from the Vols fan, and by asking them for Stetson Bennett's phone number, saying he had to give Stetson thanks for allowing him to get a punt off in the game last weekend. Are you taking or leaving? College fans should stop calling the opposing team's quarterback.
Hey, we won in 07 when we had Tebow's number. So I can't say that we have to stop. We're listening. I was a sophomore in college and very immature and dumb. And I called Tim Tebow like 5 or 6 times. And I still remember what his voicemail said. It said, "You've reached the voicemail box of Timmy Tebow." And I was like, Timmy Tebow? I think I left him a voicemail. That's very childish behavior. I regret it, but it is what it is. We got the win. So if it helped the Tigers get the win that night in Tiger Stadium, you can put it like next to the achievements. It's Hester picked up 4 fourth downs. Flynn made the huge throws. Hunt Palmer called Tebow 5 times and left a voicemail. So, look, you decide who was the bigger impact on the game. That's not for me to decide. That's for you, the listener, to decide. I'm just laying out the facts. So there's that. All right, after losing 9 games in a row to the Clippers, LeBron James was asked why his free throw attempts aren't as high as other superstars in the league. He said he's got to learn how to flop. LeBron doesn't know how to flop. Take it or leave it.
Being that I never really was a LeBron fan to begin with, Kobe, rest in peace, Lakers till I die. I just watched a lifetime, we're going back to 2004, of this guy like breaking his neck, sliding like 10 feet across the floor, doing twerk dance moves on the court, like his shoulders are gyrating, like any type of flopping that you can ever imagine on an NBA court. I think LeBron has tried to kind of pull that off, and if you just want to watch compilations, just pull up YouTube.
LeBron saying he doesn't know how to flop is like Deion Sanders saying he doesn't know how to high step. It's like King Griffey saying, I don't know how to wear a hat backwards. That's part of LeBron's identity is flopping. He looks like a...
Oh, man, he does it all.
One of those things outside the car dealerships that the air blows through it. That's what he looks like when somebody breathes on him on the court.
Look, man.
And he has the audacity to get in the press conference and say, I got to learn how to flop. And then he looks and goes, like, seriously, I need to learn how to do this. It's like, bro, we're 20 years into this, man. 20 years
man,
you've been
it's
flopping
so
around.
This is what my Lakers have turned into. A sideshow, a laughing stock, a meme team.
LeBron's got a little injury.
We're
We're
a
not
meme
see
team.
him for a little bit.
We've become a meme team now, and now we got our best player saying he doesn't know how to flop when that's all he does. I mean, he probably should flop more, LeBron. If you're not going to flop more,
safe to say the Kings are no longer the worst franchise in California in the NBA. Can we say that?
Goodness, oh my goodness. I need the Warriors to keep stinking it up. Give me a little more hope. Like if the Warriors don't keep stinking
So
it up,
you can
they
trade for
turn around.
Draymond?
Oh goodness gracious, no.
You need another personality in the locker room. That's what you need.
Oh
you need
my
another
God.
personality, really outspoken. Maybe a few fist fights in practice.
I guess Rob Pelinka thought, you know what, let's put Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook in the same backcourt, and we're just going to light the NBA on fire. Light them up with air balls. That's what we're doing this year. So, yeah, just low-hanging fruit. I know you're going to make fun of me in the Bayou for chat, but the Pels will have their day, and I'll be the first one laughing and raining on that parade, stealing all of our picks, stealing all our young talent. You got to get what's coming to you. You gave us Street Clothes Davis in return. That was a bad deal. Thanks, Pels fans.
The Citizens Bank poll question of the day today was, are you watching the Falcons and the Panthers tonight? 79% say no, they will not be tuning into this battle in the NFC South. That's kind of where I think people are. I mean, I don't think that everyone has totally given up on the Saints, but they've given up in the sense that they're not going to watch and see if the Falcons lose this game, because it's, one, you got to find it on Amazon. It's not as easy for some people as others, and two, these two teams are not good, and the product is probably going to be pretty bad tonight, quite frankly.
I'm going to tune in. I'm just a junkie. But what else you got to do on Thursday night?
I'm going to watch Arkansas football highlights on YouTube and take some notes, because we got a Football Friday show coming at you tomorrow. Same segments we have every single Friday. We will dive deep into this LSU and Arkansas game. We will absolutely go through the NFL tier list and look at our SEC gambling picks. We are both now fairly significantly below 500, which is not great. And we'll try to get back on track with this coming weekend. So we'll do that at the top of hour number 2 tomorrow. And then we'll, of course, end our Friday show with our final pick. So stay tuned for that on a Football Friday. If you missed any of today's show, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com on the on-demand page, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We appreciate it if you like, subscribe, rate, review. All those things help us out with those algorithms and get our content to other eyes. So we appreciate you all for helping us out with all of that. We opened the show today talking about LSU and Arkansas. We had a little basketball in the first hour as well. Luke Johnson joined us to talk black and gold. Andrew Hutchinson of Best of Arkansas Sports joined us to preview the Arkansas Razorbacks. So go back and catch all that on demand. Jimmy Ott's Game Time coming at you from 6 to 8 this evening. Matt Moscone about to drive you home on After Further Review. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for a Football Friday edition of Hunt and Hill.